Well, the holidays are coming.
Yep, the holidays are coming, and a few weeks ago we did an episode on the Screw-Its, which might be in full swing for some of us.
Screw-Its.
What is that?
What is Screw-Its?
Screw-Its.
Oh, Fuck-Its?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yes.
Let's just get it right.
Yes. So we thought with Thanksgiving being next week, today we would bring you some of our top tips for managing things through the holiday, all things from nutrition to stress to just our general habits and behaviors. So that's what we've got for you today. So hopefully, if you're not already practicing some of these, we can give you some great ideas to get through these next several weeks of the year and enjoy the holidays to the fullest and not totally give up on anything that you are working on currently.
All right, let's get after it. Josh, you got a list in front of you, so let's just start going through
I'll
them.
just toss it out there and you guys can discuss. Set realistic goals. Rather than aiming on big changes during this time, let's focus on maintaining your current progress.
Yep. Control what you can control. Mm-hmm. I like that a lot.
I like that too, and I guess maybe with realistic, don't set unrealistic goals. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not going to do all these things at parties, and when they come up, the reality is you're going to. So, keep in mind that I don't want to say I'm never going to have something or I'm not going to do all these things. So the realistic goal would be I'm going to set an appropriate amount, or I'm going to have a set amount of something, or I'm only going to do it on the day of the party. I'm not going to carry it over. Mm-hmm. So, number 2.
Plan your workouts. Get it written down. Get it on the calendar.
We always say plan, right, Josh?
Yeah.
So whether that's your workouts or just whatever your normal routine is, I think that's really where this really comes into play. Is we don't need to deviate from our routine to still enjoy the holiday season.
But we do have to look ahead, because if you don't look ahead, especially with this year with the holidays falling on the middle of the week, you're going to have 2 weeks that are completely jacked up.
Yeah, this is the time of year where we have a weekend, and then we have like a day, and then we have another weekend.
Yeah, and another day, and a weekend, a day, and a weekend. So we get like 6 weekends in 2 weeks. So you do need a plan and be, way ahead of the game on this, because if you're just going to try to roll into the week, there's no way you'll get your workouts in, or your intentional movement outside of the gym, whatever it is. So really look at the calendar a solid 30 days and really pencil it in and go through how am I going to actually get, because everybody's traveling and all those things that you have to really look around. And I know busy moms, when travel comes, you have to get all your kids' stuff, get your husband's stuff, and you think you're going to have all this time. Like, oh yeah, I'll just do it the day we're leaving. I'll go for a workout. Nobody ever shows up.
Yep. And we've got the extra events in there, Christmas concerts, just extra work parties, social events. Any clubs or committees you belong to might be hosting a party. So this is just a great idea. Like, literally, if you have time this weekend, after you listening to this, sit down with your calendar for the next 6 weeks and really map out what that's going to look like for you.
Perfect. And I think looking back at number 1 will help that too. Being realistic.
Yeah, there you go.
When you set those, setting that plan, being realistic with it.
It might not look like your perfect week. It might not be your 100% normal routine. But again, consistency is key, and keeping it as part of your plan.
Yep. Balance your meals. Enjoy those holiday treats, but focus on balance.
How do we do that, Josh? What are your tips for that? Because this is a big one.
Well, that almost gets into, we're going to skip ahead to another one here. Jeff mentioned earlier the 1 plate rule.
Okay.
So that can be one of the ways we balance. So going to those events, we go up, we get 1 plate we enjoy, and that's it for the day, or for that that party. Mm-hmm. Right.
So yeah, I like the 1 plate rule. It also depends on how many parties are you going to. And map that out. Do I have 3 parties, or do I have 13 parties? And that'll help make your balance needs, because if it's only 2 or 3, then you probably don't need to worry about anything, as long as everything else is balanced. But if you have 10, 15 parties, which this is the year that you will, because like you said, there's 6 weekends in 2 weeks, you're probably going to have 10 parties. And then, so now the 1 plate rule is actually meaningful.
Some of those parties, they'll have the smaller dessert plates. You know, you may have some success using those smaller plates and getting just a taste of everything rather than even one larger plate. Next, stay hydrated. Drinking water will help with digestion, controls hunger, and keeps us feeling energized.
That's a rule we should follow every day of the year, but this time of year, especially when we are attending events or just even eating out more in general, we just know it's saltier, heavier foods potentially. So good hydration is definitely going to help with that as well.
Yeah. I know my water during those times, water is one I really need to focus on. I do pretty well outside of that, but I know whenever we're busy and family stuff, water takes a backseat. I'm not home. So, do I get water when I'm at a family event? 50-50.
And I don't know about you guys, but I know that it helps control the hunger with me, because I know sometimes I find myself, I'm going to have one of those snacks and then I'm like, am I really just thirsty? And I think back, I'm like, I probably haven't had my water, enough of my water today. So I'm probably just thirsty.
And with alcohol consumption probably going up a little bit at a higher clip.
It might.
I know I'll probably be guilty of that myself. Making sure I slide in some water inside in between cocktails from time to time.
And I think that goes back. We're again back to number one, setting realistic goals. And that's probably going to happen. So we're being realistic. Next, focus on activities with family and friends. Try to incorporate movement into your holiday traditions, going for a walk, playing outdoor games, doing stuff, moving.
Yep. And we talked about the Gobble Hobbles coming up at the end of the month at the rec center, Thanksgiving morning, 7 a.m. We always encourage people from Pulse to join us at the Gobble Hobble. I know of several families who are signing up, which I think is totally awesome. I know there's a group of guys that get together and put on a little football game at the quarterback club fields, just to get that morning started. I mean, that's just one day, but again, these are things that you can do throughout the holidays. You can plan to go up to the square, walk around, look at all the lights, but with your family, everybody will enjoy it, and you'll be just getting some extra movement in.
Yeah, I know our family is doing the Gobble Hobble, not just like my close family, but extended family, a lot of cousins and stuff coming to town to do that in the morning. So looking forward to it. We've done it in the past. And it's a great way to kick off the Thanksgiving day, feel good about movement. And then we also have, speaking of movement through the holidays, we'll have our race, our 5K. We may as well throw that out there.
Yeah, we're going to do the Ugly Christmas Sweater Mystery Run Walk. It's a big title.
It is a big title.
And we will do that on, someone's going to have to help me with the
December
date.
16th?
The 15th.
15th. Sounds right. Whatever that 14th. Weekend is, 2 weeks before Christmas.
Yeah. But we will do that at Pulse, and we do a collection for the Highland Food Pantry where we collect toiletry items that we hope we can just fill them up that they can use for long term and help out the people who need those things. So it's always a fun event we do with our members. And of course, we open that up to anybody, guests who can also attend. So we will be getting more details out on that. So that would be another great one to bring family to. And the mystery aspect of it is just really cool. So be on the lookout for those details.
Cool. Avoid skipping meals. Just because we overdo or have a party or something, don't skip meals leading up or following that party. Have those regular meals so we avoid the overeating.
Yeah, just maintain your routine that day. It's not going to help anything if you show up to a party completely starving, especially if there's cocktails or something there. I mean, it just could be a recipe for just overeating and drinking and just all the things, and then the next day too. So maintain a normal routine.
Yeah, especially if you're going to drink, you definitely need to eat before you show up. Otherwise, you don't want to be that relative at the party on an empty stomach that overserved themselves right out the gate. And keeps you on a good routine.
Manage stress and prioritize sleep. So practice mindfulness and prioritize rest for better energy and fewer cravings.
So how are we going to manage stress, Tina?
Well, I'm going to say I think, even though I know that that's not a word we like to use around here. I know that when I'm doing all the things we've already covered on the list, planning, maintaining my routine, moving my body, I know for a fact that I'm managing stress right there. When I try to do too much and my boundaries are out of alignment, that's when the stress sets in. So again, going back to just the whole planning aspect and keeping balance in your days and in your life in general is going to really help with managing stress. I don't know what you guys do to manage stress while you're watching TV on the couch, while your wives are wrapping presents and,
Cussing. I think that helps a lot.
It's very stressful watching you feverishly wrap presents and frantically, pace around like, how are we going to get all this done? My stress is usually pretty good. I don't shop until a couple days before, so I don't have to worry about stress all month.
Does that surprise you?
I'm fine.
So, Deanna, just don't even watch this one.
Yeah.
Skip.
Manage the stress by following these other tips on here. Your stress level is going to go down. And moms out there, believe me, I'm with you. I hear you. We are trying to do a lot and make this a magical time for our families and our kids. But I promise you, the most magical thing that you can do for your family is manage your stress.
Yep.
That is the most magical thing, and it's a magical feeling. And it still, there's still a lot going on, but it is possible to make these work.
And the other thing you can do, the second part of that, prioritizing sleep, just by making enough time for yourself to get those 7 to 9 hours every night goes a long way. Remembering our why. Revisit the reasons behind your goals. Having a strong sense of purpose will help you align your choices with your goals.
Yes.
And it's a good time to just go over your whys anyways, like why waste? Again, go back to don't waste 6 weeks. Don't wait, don't push that off to the side until January 1st. That's a waste of 6 weeks at this point, or 7 weeks, whatever it'll be. Why waste almost 2 months of potential progress, or at least just staying where you're at, whatever your goal is.
Yeah. And I know when we opened up the episode, I talked about the Screw It's episode or whatever we called it, but
got so politically correct over there.
However, I would, mention that if since that time you are still struggling to maintain balance and routine, like Jeff just said, you don't have to wait 6 more weeks to do anything. You can take action right now. You can take it today, tomorrow, whatever, whenever the next available time is for you to do that. It's ready and waiting, and you will feel good. And, for me, I can say that all the stuff on this list that we've just kind of gone over, I have screwed all of these things up. And so us bringing this to you is just showing you that these are real life things that have happened. I know have happened to me. I don't know if they've for all have happened 100%. To everyone here, but there is no reason to wait. And, remembering your why is super important. It's kind of like I just brought up with the magical time for your kids. For most of us, that, the why of what you're doing when you're stressed, remember why you're doing it. You're doing it to enjoy this time with your family. So, showing up as your best self is a really important reason to take these tips and put them into practice.
The last thing I had written down is getting a partner coach for accountability.
Yeah, find a buddy throughout the holidays that's like, hey, let's do some stuff. Let's check in with each other. Let's make sure we're adhering to the plan that we put in place, whether that's with your partner or with just a friend, or if this is a great time to before the holiday rush to find that gym home. So if that's something that's been on your mind, you don't have to wait until January 1st to do it. You can do it right now.
Yeah, and accountable. I love accountability partners and doing things together. Just make sure you're going to be each other's best friend, not each other's own worst enemy. And what that means is sometimes we get to be too close with a friend, and when one says I'm not going, the other person says I'm also not going, because you're not going, now I don't have to go. So be the person who encourages the other person, says, and even if you don't show up or if somebody cancels on you, you're still going to do the thing.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it becomes too easy to just, nope, I'm out. So
Yeah, be the partner who shows the other person that even if you're not there, they are there. Show up for yourself. And I bet your partner, accountability friend or whatever will be like, I should have went. And they'll be with you the next time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I got one that I just thought of, and it seems like, maybe over the last few years, it seems like people are reluctant to set New Year goals, because they've failed so many times in the past, or they never followed through. So they're just like, I just don't even do that anymore. And to me, I just think that's a terrible idea. When we stop setting goals and stop dreaming about what we can do or could possibly do, now you're really in the worst situation possible. Like, give it continue to try. Every time it didn't work, well, hopefully you've been able to figure out why it didn't work, and then shoot for it again and make the adjustments, figure out what changes. Find a coach that can help you make those changes that didn't work for you in the past, but don't ever stop setting the goal. Yeah. Don't ever stop creating new wishes or new dreams.
Yeah. Revisit the goals that you've had in the past and evaluate them. And like Jeff said, adjust and find a way to make it work. And maybe it's just by breaking it down, or maybe it is by getting some help from a coach to, help you really put those into action. So
chances are it just needs to be simplified. Like, take whatever it was that you tried before. I guarantee you it was too complicated. Make it simpler, make it easier, make it smaller. Just break it down, take it down a few notches, and it's probably a little bit more attainable. So.
Yeah, I love it. Let's have a great holiday season and hit the ground running in 2025.
Yeah, absolutely.